Namaskar, everybody. Today, we're just going to go over some guidelines for success in meditation. So the first one that you can read here on the page is meditate twice a day. Once you have a practice, we should come into it with the mindset that we're going to be doing this twice a day. What else do we do twice a day? What are some things that we do in life that's usually done twice a day?
Brush your teeth.
Yeah, I can think of brushing my teeth, right? Okay, so you see a lot of times we're doing things for the body, okay? Like taking a shower. Some of us take a shower twice a day. We brush our teeth twice a day. We have to go to the bathroom. There's regular maintenance that has to be done with the body, but not much attention is paid to the mind. Okay? And so if you're going to do meditation, for maximum success, you want to be doing this twice a day. Success in meditation is the result of many factors, the most important of which is regularity. And twice a day might sound like a lot, right? But in the beginning, it could be twice a day for just 5 minutes. Now, the next guideline is to do it at the same time every day. All right? Do you usually brush your teeth around the same times every day? Do you usually shower around the same times every day? Do we usually eat around the same times every day? Yes. And what that helps to do is it just helps to establish a routine. It's going to create also a nice flow in your life. All right, a regular flow, and it'll bring order into your life. Okay, as well as joy, and of course it will help to reduce stress. Next guideline to keep in mind is to do it at the same place. Let's go ahead and think about our lives right now, in our homes. Can everybody find right now in their mind the place that they can go and sit for meditation? If not, how about outside the house? Do you have a balcony where you live? Do you have a porch? Is there a park nearby your house where you can also go for meditation? If you're going to try to sneak in meditation during work, like let's say during your lunch hour or right after work or right before work, is there a nearby church that's usually quiet that you can just go sit in and do meditation in?
Well, if you're at a university, usually you can find empty classrooms somewhere at some time, and it's usually on a schedule. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Eric. So he just suggests that if you're at a university, there's usually empty classrooms. Now, the next guideline is to create a system where you have no interruptions. Now, that's going to require sometimes that you have a sincere conversation with the people in your life. Okay? You're going to have to tell the people in your life, look, from 6 to 7 or from 6 to 6:15 every day, I'm going to need this house to be quiet. Okay? Or I'm going to need you all to understand and respect that I'm going to be in my room doing my meditation every day from 6 to 6:15. Can you please try to keep it down during that time? Can you please try not to contact me during that time? Though, how else can you minimize interruptions? Shika?
Just turn the phone or anything off.
Exactly. When's the last time we turned off our phones?
You can put a scarf on your doorknob.
You can put a scarf on your doorknob, and that's a signal to everybody that you should not be interrupted at that time. How does that sound to everybody about having a conversation with the people in your life that you need this time twice a day for meditation?
I think it can be complicated to ask for what you need sometimes.
Yeah, it can be complicated to ask for what you need.
Yeah. Might as well you just you have to find maybe another ways, like say I'm going to work, don't bother me. I mean, just okay. So because people probably spend more of that time that when you're just working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think that maybe it's better to tell people that I have to work during this time as opposed to I have to meditate during this time?
I have to finish a project. Please don't interrupt me or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I just say they're better be blunt if you interrupt me.
Okay, right. If you're not dying, okay, if the house isn't burning down, please don't interrupt me. Is that actually everybody in your house starts to benefit when you do meditation. Because you start to create a vibration in the house, for one thing. And you start to create a change within yourself. And you start to also become an example. All right, let's look at the next one. On a light stomach. So you may or may not have been aware that obviously when you eat something, the body then has to go through a process of digestion. And that takes a lot of energy. That's why when you eat, it's actually very good if you just take a nap. Because then you don't have to, like try to stay awake and drink coffee or drink lots of caffeine or sugar to keep you awake. If our lives were better organized as a whole, we would all just take naps after eating and then get back with our day, because the body has to exert energy to digest. So likewise, if you're on a full stomach and you're going to try to meditate at that time, it's going to be more complicated, because you're going to be tired because your body's focused on digestion. So this doesn't mean that you should meditate on an empty stomach. It just means that you should meditate on a light stomach. So let's say it's 5 p.m., you just got out of work, you're hungry, but at the same time you want to do your meditation, just a little snack, right? Like a bar, a banana, just to keep your stomach under control, and then do your meditation. So the next one is to take half bath first. All right. What is half bath? Half bath is a practice in India. I think it might be a little more common in India. But what you're doing during half bath, the purpose is that, to meditate, your body also has to be comfortable. And one way for the body to be comfortable is to cool the sensory organs. So before meditation, so that you don't meditate in a sleepy, sluggish way, you want to cool all of the sensory organs. So you want to cool the eyes. So, splash water onto your eyes. That's going to help you stay awake and alert, okay? Go ahead and splash. Also, believe it or not, this is going to sound a little weird. You can take some water and put it down up to your nose, okay? And then spit the water out. Okay, so that you're just sort of cleaning the nasal canal and spitting the water out. That's going to cool this part of the body. Pouring water on the eyes, putting some water here on the crown of the head. This is a very hot part of the body. The head is a very hot part of the body. This is the navel is also another really hot part of the body. So you put water here, put water in your lower back. These are other very warm parts, so put some water here and some water here on the other side of your elbows, and even behind your knees. That's called a half bath. Okay? So you don't have to take a full shower to be awake for your meditation. You can just take a half bath that hopefully will only be like 5 minutes or maybe just a couple of minutes, or a few minutes, and then you can meditate after that. It will really help.
But so why not a shower? If you want to just take a shower.
Or take a shower. If you have a lake, swim in the lake.
No,
all right.
I don't want to make it fun, but it's a little more practical just to take a shower and then.
Everything I just described? Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Okay. I mean, if you can, at least.
Yeah, if possible. I mean, sometimes you might be trying to meditate outside, so you're not at home to take a shower.
Yeah.
So you can do a half bath at a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Another guideline is to relax and keep the back straight. A lot of people, it's totally understandable. Some people cannot meditate in this traditional lotus pose at first. So those folks will have to maybe sit on a chair so that they can, have their back leaning there, but they can still keep their back straight. Some people will want to lie in bed at first. Whatever you need to do in the beginning to get you started is okay. But you have to remember that eventually you have to work your way into this position. All right? And the nice thing about this traditional lotus position is that you're keeping the back straight. In meditation, in tantric meditation, there is the concept of the chakras, right? The 7 energy points in the body. So if you're sitting in this position, your chakras are nicely aligned. Also, your breathing is nicely sort of aligned, and the passages are more easily open. So this position is very good for those practical reasons. Now, What helps to keep your back straight like this is to have a cushion underneath. All right? Anything that can lift your back up helps. So if you're on a cushion, your feet can be on the floor and your back is on the cushion, which makes your back more elevated. Here's another guideline. Read uplifting literature. Read good books. Keep uplifting ideas in your mind. Spirituality requires constant encouragement to overcome the negativity around us. Inspiring books help. Sometimes what I used to do is before my meditation, I would read some spiritual literature so that I get a little inspired. You know, my mind kind of gets immersed in a deep topic here, and then, you know, my mind can open more as I'm doing meditation. Let's go to another guideline. Keeping good company. This one is one of my favorites. I'd like to say something about this. You know, really, in my experience, in my life, I think that one of the biggest assets to your meditation practice is to be in a relationship with somebody that does meditation. Some of us might already be married. We might already be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't do meditation. That's okay, and that's another thing. But if we're not there yet, and meditation is important to us, it's really helpful if the person you share your life with, your partner, I'm talking about specifically, also does meditation. Because then you won't have a situation, because then you can meditate together, you can grow together, you can inspire each other. It's like, you know, it's easy to go to the gym if your partner also goes to the gym. You know, you can go together, it can be fun, you know. Now, if you don't have someone in your life that does meditation that is your partner, you can have friends that do meditation. And another one of the guidelines is, I'm going to skip ahead, is attend group meditation. Like this, for example. You see, now we've all come together, now we've met, and we know that this is a place where we can come together to meditate together. We may not have people at home that can meditate with us, but we can find a community to do meditation with outside and attend a weekly group meditation. Let's go ahead and go on to the next guideline here. Have regular contact with an acharya. Now, what is an acharya? An acharya is a teacher. Somebody has to teach you meditation. Unfortunately, it is not recommended for you to just go to the bookstore and get a book on meditation and learn that and then practice that. That's really not the traditional way, the fun way, or the interesting way to learn meditation. The best way to learn meditation is from a teacher. All right? And like I said, I can connect you with a teacher. I also teach a meditation class. Okay? So, and then having regular contact with that teacher is very important. Going to them regularly, talking to them about your meditation practice and about getting your next lessons. What more you can learn to take your meditation deeper. Let's talk about 3 more guidelines. Be patient and determined. You have to be patient with yourself. Here's what happens when you sit for meditation. You sit for meditation and you start saying your mantra, if you're doing mantra meditation. But as soon as you say your mantra, then hundreds of other thoughts flood your mind. And it's like, what irony. Here I am trying to connect with the universe, trying to do something uplifting in my life, but yet my mind betrays me. It's just flooded with all these other thoughts. Now, in another class, we'll talk about how to overcome that. But what you have to remember is you just have to be patient. You cannot give up. Sometimes your meditation is just going to be sitting there for 5 minutes. And that is why I recommend another guideline. Time yourself. So I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes. So take out a timer. Time 10 minutes so that at least you're going to sit there for 10 minutes. Whether or not you were successful at doing the meditation, at least you were there for 10 minutes trying to get the habit down. Okay? And sometimes, yes, you're going to be so distracted. But be patient and be determined and sit there for whatever time allotted you said that you would. The next day you will concentrate more and more and more. select your food carefully. There is such a thing in this sort of Eastern philosophy as sattvic foods, tamasic foods, rajasic foods. Some foods are not conducive to meditation. Now, these are the foods that are labeled as tamasic. And in another video, in another class, we'll talk about what makes a food tamasic, what makes a food sattvic. But the tamasic foods that are not conducive to meditation are things like meat, onion, garlic, eggs, mushrooms. Believe it or not, these foods have some sort of effect on your mind that keeps the mind relatively dull. So you want to eat the foods that keeps the mind more awake and more alive, more fresh. And those are called sattvic foods. And the last one is avoid stimulants. So avoid, alcohol, avoid cannabis, nicotine, any other harmful drugs. These things have a deep influence on your mind and on your brain cells. In fact, anything you put in your body is what dictates the type of body cells that you have. Your cells are always renewing. Every 7 years, every cell in your body is gone and a new one is there. Your whole body regenerates. So if you're eating things that are bad for you, you're creating cells in your body that are negative. See what I'm saying? So keep in mind what you put in the body because it's going to affect the mind. I want to thank all of you for joining me today in this class. Namaskar. The sattvic foods are supposed to be foods that are good for the body and the mind. The rajasic foods are foods that may or may not be good for the body and may or may not be good for the mind. And the tamasic foods are supposed to be may or may not be good for the body, but bad for the mind. So I can give you some examples of let's look at onion and garlic. Now, some of the things that happen when you're eating onion and garlic. So for example, if you put garlic in your body, immediately your body expels it out. That's why you get the bad breath right away. It comes from your pores. Sometimes somebody walks past you and you can smell that person. What you're smelling is the garlic that is coming sort of out of their pores. So why don't the other foods smell so badly when you put them in your body? It's because the effect that garlic has on the body is that the body just needs to get it out. It just has to expel it right away. Same thing with onion. If you eat some onion, it's going to give you more bad breath than if you eat broccoli, if you eat anything else. And again, it's just a very strong food that also the body tries to get out. Not just in digestion, but even in your breath and in your pores and things like that. So right now I'm giving you some little anecdotal evidence of that, of how that's kind of a weird food. These foods are also very fiery. They're very fiery foods. They affect your glands in a different way than the other foods. Okay? So the glands are also where the chakras are. So supposedly these foods will also have sort of a negative effect on certain chakras. This idea came from these yogis that have practiced meditation for many, many years, and they came to these conclusions. So really it's just an experiment. You have to see what works for you. You have to see, let's say you decide to cut out, for the sake of your meditation, for 1 week. No onion, no garlic, no mushrooms, no eggs. Try that for a week, meditate for a week, and then eat those things and try your meditation and see if it's affecting you. Maybe it's not affecting you. And you don't feel like you need to follow those things to be successful in meditation. You don't. The only thing I want to say is this. In the beginning, you don't need to make any of these major changes. But as you go deeper into your meditation, you're going to notice yourself, hey, I've been meditating more. I watch less TV. I don't feel the need to smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't feel like I need to drink anymore when I go out to a party. I'm not watching these programs anymore. You go through a change. Because meditation, it influences you, it changes you from within, from the inside. And so So naturally what starts to happen is you start to even desire meat a little less and things like that. In the beginning, you should just meditate. But don't be surprised if later these things become more important. Right now, they don't have to be. You shouldn't believe something dogmatically. You should always, it should be rational, it should be scientific. Why is onion not good? I'll tell you one last story. I went to a doctor with my mother, okay? My mother hates the fact that I don't eat onion or garlic. She just hates that. She really doesn't like that at all. So one day we were at a doctor, and she asked the doctor, she said, he doesn't eat any onion or garlic. Isn't that bad? And the doctor said, well, and she knew that I'm a vegetarian. She said, well, he doesn't eat onion or garlic because he doesn't eat meat. Only people who eat meat need garlic to help them with the, whatever it is that are the health benefits of garlic, it really will only benefit somebody who eats meat. So whatever toxins or whatever garlic helps to expel, it's mainly going to expel the problems that you get from eating meat. So in a way I lucked out there. My mom was like, oh, or she was kind of disappointed, like, you know what I mean? So these things you want to take in stride, and if this doesn't make sense to you, don't believe it, don't follow it. It has to make sense to you, and you can experiment.
Curious, yeah.